In this video, we're going to be making sourdough using Matthew's most popular flour, Cotswold Crunch. Literally the best flour there is. Hi, I'm Elaine from Foodbod Sourdough. Welcome back to my kitchen. Today, I'm showing you how I make sourdough with Matthew's most popular flour, Cotswold Crunch. You may question as to why does this need a video? Well, the answer being because it's amazing flour, but also it behaves very differently from a standard bread flour or other whole grain flours. So it's a good excuse for a video. It's a good excuse to bake some fabulous bread, but also you'll find it very helpful. So what we've got here is, it's just so good. So Cotswold Crunch. This is a flour that includes some malted flour and malted flakes. Now, I'm not the expert here with all of the best terminology about this. So if you have a look in the description of the video, you'll see a more detailed explanation as to what that means. But to create a malted flour, the wheat grains are heated. So they're spread on a malting floor, which is warm, and they're heated so that they germinate. And then they are milled, which gives you just the most amazingly flavoured flour. So you've got a sweetness to it, you've got a nuttiness to it. If you've ever had anything that is malt-based, you know, like your Ovaltine, that's the kind of flavour you're going to get. And when you bring it into bread, oh, it's so good. It is literally so good, but it does need to be handled differently. So when you have malt flour in your dough, it will attract more moisture. Like I said, Sophie from Matthew's has written us a better description of this, so you can read about it if you really want the details. But really what we want to know is how it behaves. So this is what this video is going to show you. And I'm going to show you making sourdough with 100% Cotswold Crunch. And look at that. You can see, I mean, you can just see all of the joy. And it smells amazing. It smells absolutely amazing. It gives you such a fabulous loaf. So you're going to see using it 100% or using it as a portion of the dough. So I will explain the way that I would start to use it when you first get some. We have got a standard Cotswold Crunch and an organic version. And this version will eventually be available in the US, which is why I want to include both, but so that you can see how that they behave. So if you've seen this on the shelves, when you're going through Tesco's or anywhere else, or if you've seen it online and you wonder, this is what this video is going to be about. So let's get on and show you the dough. Here we are with some dough to show you how this flour is going to behave. So these have all been made using my master recipe, which if that's new to you, you'll be able to find links to that in the description. It's all available online, whether you look on the Matthew's website or mine. And I'm going to show you what the dough looks like at different stages so that you can fully understand. So this is a dough that I mixed earlier just to show you the starting point of this so that you'll start to see how it behaves differently. So this has got 100% Cotswold flour. So we've got 100% of this one in this bowl. And when you first come to use Cotswold Crunch, if you want to use it 100% on its own, the best way to do that is with less water. So if you remember what I said at the start, this is a flour that attracts more moisture, but even from the beginning, you're going to see how this behaves differently. So in this bowl, my standard master recipe, 50 grams of starter, the 500 grams of flour, your salt, but it's just 325 grams of water. So if you're going to use it 100%, that is your starting point. So you'll see it doesn't stretch in the same way, but look how it turns out. Okay, so this has been made with your 325 grams of water. And this does create a more moist loaf. which is all part of the joy of it. But if you're going to, with starting point, we start with less water. As you get more comfortable with it, you can build it up. Now this is going to be really sticky, and I've got lots of dough to handle, so you're going to have to excuse me. I'm going to wear a glove to do this. This will be fully recycled. James wants me to do a dance with the glove, which I'm not going to do. But what you'll see, I mixed this only briefly a little while ago, and just to show you, this is, it's not something that's going to stretch. So this is sticky, it's heavy. There's also some rye in the mix of this flour. So this is going to be a heavy thing. It's going to be sticky. So this is your first kind of handling of this dough. You're not going to be able to stretch it up in the same way. But what you will end up having to do is push it over itself. So what I'm going to show you is what it becomes. So this is, as you can see, it's going to break up a bit, but this is okay. So resist at this point adding more water because you think that this is dry. It's not. It's going to be absolutely fine. So if that was your starting point, when you then come in to seeing the dough a bit later, what you'll see is, which one do we want here? So this is dough that has been sitting for a bit longer. I've done a load of pulls and folds on it already. So you'll see where that becomes. So can you see, this is heavy. This is not going to stretch in the same way as your strong white bread flour or anything like that. So when you come to do this, this needs to be just pushed over on itself. You're not going to be able to get it all the way across. It's going to stay pretty much as a whole piece. So you might need to have another hand in there to be able to do it. But it's still worth agitating this and giving it that action so you can see what it's going to do. So this is the standard Cotswold Crunch. And you, as you handle it, push in on itself. So don't worry that you can't stretch this over, but do the work with it. And you can see all the flakes in it. You can see just how good this is going to be. So I'm going to show you exactly the same with the organic one, just so that you can see how they handle. And what you will notice as you're doing this is you get the smell. The smell that comes up from this flour is just so good. So you've got a slight colour difference in them. This one, slightly stretchier, but again, heavy dough. So these are the ones that are 100% Cotswold Crunch. So keep in mind, if your dough does this, don't worry about it, because mine did too. But just still do make that effort of pushing it into itself, like we do. So that shows you what it's like if you're going to use 100% of the flour, which I highly recommend. You might want to build up to it or just go for it. But so remember, if you're going to use 100% of the Cotswold Crunch straight off, you need less water, 325 grams of water with my master recipe. So your alternative is just to use a small amount initially. So that's what this loaf was about, but also this one. So this has been made with my master recipe with 200 grams of your standard Cotswold Crunch and 300 grams of Churchills white, so strong white bread flour. And this shows you the difference in the dough. So this has got your standard amount of water in this. So this is with your 350 grams of water. And look, you can stretch this a lot more. So this is going to feel a lot more like you're used to because there's this higher portion of strong white bread flour. So I would highly recommend when you first start using it, and if you go back to my video, our video about using new flours, always start small. I would start with just 100 grams of it or maximum 200 grams and see how it feels. You're still going to get that flavour, but you're going to get more of a stretch on this. Still going to be tighter than if you've got 100% of the strong white bread flour, but you're going to be able to do a bit more with it. And you've still got, look at that dough, still studded with all of this joy. And let me show you then the same with the, let's get them right, the same with the organic version. So this is the strong white bread flour with the organic Cotswold Crunch. Look, really stretchy. So you can see how they behave. Taste-wise, between the two, absolutely the same. This one's just giving you a little bit more stretch in it. So we can do all the actions that we know and love. So when you first try this, I would definitely suggest trying with a small portion initially. If you're going to go full on, thanks Bob, there's Bob having a shake. If you're going to go full on into using the 100%, make sure you use less water. And don't worry when you first mix it if you feel like it feels a bit like mud. It's going to have that kind of feel to it, and it is going to break up. So a bit like if you were using just straight rye flour in it. So that shows you the different stages of the doughs between a first mix and after several pulls and folds on it. So we're going to get these out of the way and then show you what it looks like at the other end of the process. Here we've got 2 bowls of dough that have been fully proved. So I want to show you again the difference between the texture that you will get with these doughs as we put them into a banneton. So again, Bob's walking around if you can hear his feet. We have got 100% Cotswold Crunch in here with the lower amount of water. Whereas this is your 300 grams of strong white bread flour and 200 grams of Cotswold Crunch with a normal amount of water. So you can see immediately how different these doughs are. So don't worry about this one that it's kept itself tighter. And please do just stick with the smaller amount of water initially when you first use this. As you get to grips with the flour, feel free to add more water and use the full amount with it. But initially, this is the best way to go. So I'm going to show you the difference between the flours when we get to this point. So these have proved overnight using my usual method. It would be okay if they were also a bit fuller, but we are tied to the time of when we're filming. So typically I might leave them a bit longer so they grew up a bit higher. I often get this question of whereabouts in the bowl should the dough be. I've talked about this before, but with these bowls, if you're using the same bowl as me, I would aim for the lip. What you want when it's fully proved is a dough that has got a slightly upward dome to the surface. So where the level of that top of that dome is, you might want it between the lip and the top. But the most thing that you want to look for is your dough to double in size. So if you haven't got the same bowls as me and the whole proving thing is worrying you, remember we have lots of other videos about this. But the key thing is for your dough to double in size. So as we have these other bowls, let's just get them whilst we're talking about this. So if we're going to do our comparison here, so you can see how they were left to how they look now. We've got our tight little ball of dough that we're leaving to prove, and we've got our proved dough. So you can see, really, if we were leaving it just a tad longer, which I would prefer, it just needs to double. That's the thing to look at. And if you're not sure, take a photo of your dough when you leave it. So this was in a bit of a tighter ball before, so you'll be able to see more of a comparison. Again, this has started to spread a bit, but if you think about the tight ball that you pull this into when you leave it to prove. So this is our dough being left to prove. This is your tight ball. Look at the comparison between the two. So if you are not too sure about where you want to get it to, take a photo of it when you leave the dough to prove and have it as a comparison. Because I think you can easily say the volume of that is double this now. And if we left it that little extra bit longer, even more so. So you can see what the dough's doing. So let's just get rid of these again. And come back to our other doughs. So we're going to put these doughs into the bannetons. It's just going to do the usual thing that I would do. Let's start with this one. So we've got our lovely Brock form bannetons. We're just going to add a little bit of extra rice flour just to be on the safe side. And all we're going to do is pull this into our nice tight ball for going into the banneton. Remember, this is the point at which you want really nice tight ball of dough. So we're picking it up and across, and look how stretchy that is. This is pretty much as you'd expect your dough to be at this point. Nice and stretchy. We're bringing it up and across. Remember, we want to push it in nice and tight. Don't worry about bursting those bubbles or being gentle with it. You want to be nice and tight with it. So we're going to really push against it till the point that you can't do it anymore. Literally can't take any more, so don't do it anymore. We've got that nice tight ball of dough. And we want that going into our banneton. We're just going to put a bit of rice flour over the top. And that is going to go back into the fridge to be able to prove again. Let's do it on the other one so you can see just how different this dough is going to be. Bob's still walking around, if you can hear him. So this, very different, okay? You can see it's not going to stretch in the same way. It's really spongy. But we still want to pull it into that tight ball. Ooh. If it had grown a bit more, you would see even more how spongy it is. But it's not going to take much at all to get it into that tight ball. Hardly any work at all to get it where we want it. And then that can go again into your banneton. And what you'll notice as you're working with it is you'll get that lovely wheaty smell, that lovely malty, wheaty smell that's coming from the flour. I mean, it is so good. So that into the banneton. And it's going to hold its shape because it's much tighter dough. And that's okay. So remember, this is your starting point. And when you turn that out to score it and bake it, remember, it will open up. Look at all the texture you've got on that. So don't be worrying about how tight the dough is, because it is going to open up and do the job you need it to do. So they are going to go into the fridge, and then we'll show you scoring some loaves to go in the oven. What we're going to do now is turn some doughs out into the pan for them to go into the oven. We're going to do this a little bit differently today. So I am inviting James to come from behind the camera. Now, as you all know, James has shot all my books and all these videos. So he should know what to do, shouldn't he? Come on. So, for everybody that's never seen him, this is the boy. This is James, who's usually behind the camera. Now, you should know what you're doing, shouldn't you?
Oh, you think so? Yeah, you would think so. Suddenly it seems so daunting.
Right.
Right.
I'm going to turn out the first one, okay, into the pan, all right, just to remind you of the process, because I'm sure you do know it, because you take it all on board, don't you?
It doesn't go in one ear and out the other at all.
Not. I'm going to do the oval one, you're going to do the round one, and I've given you the easier dough. So this is going to be nice foam dough, okay? So rather than put you really on the spot and test you and ask you what everything's called, I'm going to take this one off first. So what we've got here is our dough, which is 200 grams of Cotswold Crunch, 300 grams of strong white bread flour. And this one is going to go into our oval pan. So concentrate. What do we do?
Focus.
Yeah? Banneton comes into your hand. We want the paper over the top. Yeah? Pan over the top of that. And then we turn it all over.
Gotcha.
All right? So we're not just sploshing it straight into the pan. Okay? Banneton comes off the top. Lane, okay?
Right.
Very sharp blade, be very careful. With this one, because we're doing this one with the oval, we're just going to follow the line. So we're scoring it along the line here. So with this one, with the oval one, we're just going to do that single score, and that's going to go into the oven, and then we're going to come on to the round one, which is going to be yours.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Ready for this?
No. Right, so I move this Banneton out of the way.
Yeah, move things out the way.
See, I remember that it's called a Banneton.
Yeah, you got that bit right.
The funny bit is, like, people can't hear me because I'm not mic'd up.
But will it pick you up on some of mine?
Yeah, it should do. I'll raise the volumes or something.
Okay.
I'll just talk louder.
Right, hold on.
Hold on, holding on. Right, go on.
So we're back. Keep in mind that he's not got a mic on and I do, so hopefully you'll pick some of James up on my mic. So what's the first thing we're going to do? We're turning this dough out into this pan.
Good, take the cover off of that dough.
Yeah.
Take the lid off the pan.
Yeah.
You're loving this.
Go on. Yeah.
Right, okay,
All right, go for it.
I'm just hoping, I should have turned the monitor around so I could see that this is capturing this.
Okay.
This is cruel. I didn't know this was happening.
No, I've put him on the spot, but this is
sprung
good
this.
because people
Right.
can see. So this is your 100% Cotswold Crunch dough, okay?
Fantastic.
Fabulous.
And here's one I made earlier. No? Alright. Okay, so the paper is going to go over the top.
Yeah?
Then the pan's going on top.
Yeah.
And I'm going to flip the whole lot over.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Put your hand underneath it will help, just so that you can hold it. That's it.
Paper
That's it.
on top.
Pan over the top. Fabulous. Turning it over. That's what we
Will
like.
that just drop out there now?
Yeah, Banneton will just come up. Look at that. Not nervous at all.
I'm not nervous or anything like that. Sharp
So,
things.
When we've got a round on like this, we're going to just score from the outside inwards, and a 5-spoke star into the middle, okay?
Right, so
now this is going to be a really nice, easy dough for you. With these, I tend to find it easier to use it like this.
Right, okay.
Okay, so that you're using
Like
the
that.
corner.
So am I just coming into the middle and stopping?
Yeah.
Rotating, and doing it 5 times?
Yes, and
Okay.
score nice and deeply. Cut as deeply as it goes in before it hits the wood.
Okay, so from here?
Yeah, so go from the outside. Look at that.
It's got a bit of resistance. See, I watch you do this all the time,
Exactly.
but never... Where's the next one? Back there?
Yeah? So with this dough, you're going to find it's really easy to score because it's a nice firm dough.
About there?
Yeah, so you're going to end up with 4 instead, which is
Am I?
fine. Because otherwise they're going to be
a bit like that, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it's
so
going to be 4.
you've cut
Fluffed
it.
it up first
No,
time.
you've cut it into 4. That's fine. There's no right or wrong here. But look at
Except for the fact
that.
you said 5.
Look at those lovely scores.
Is that all right?
Yeah, that's brilliant.
It's opening up.
Yeah. How do you feel?
Like I want to run behind the camera again.
Lid's going to go on and I'll put
Right.
it in the oven. Well
Cool.
done.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I'm leaving now.
But what you'll see, now that he's behind the camera, hopefully we can show you in lovely detail, is you'll see how easy this dough is to score. Because it is very firm, it has got the less water, but even when you've got more water in it, it will still be easy to score. So that one's going to go in the oven as well. Usual, baking from a cold start like I always do. So the oven's going on to 220 fan or 240 if it's non-fan, which is your 425 Fahrenheit if you've got convection, 450 if it's convention. Going in the oven, we're from a cold start for 55 minutes. That's going in. Well done to my student. It's about time you came in front of the camera. That is the sound of the first loaf that's going to come out the oven. So I'm going to get out the oval loaf that I scored to show you. Here we go. So this, there's a dog under my feet. This was the loaf that's got the 200 grams of Cotswold Crunch and 300 grams of strong white bread flour. Look at that. As you can see, it's had a little bit of a burst, a little bit of a fat belly going on. But this is our first loaf coming out. Just get rid of the paper. Look at that. So these are still a bit tight. loaves are a little bit small coming out because I could have done with a little bit longer in the fridge. But that is going to be every bit packed with flavour. So what's coming out next is the loaf that you scored, James. So you're going to come around here and get it out of the oven?
Yeah, let me just lock this camera in. Hold on.
Yeah? Right. So he's not very happy about this, that I've done this to him today. But this is just about to beep. Here's your oven gloves.
My oven gloves.
Yeah? Just press the end button to stop it beeping. Other end. Okay? Please don't burn yourself. So this is the loaf that James scored. Oh, who's now nearly dropped it. Right. So this is the loaf. Look at that. He didn't do the flourish. Please don't put that straight on the...
Oh, where do you want it?
Just, that'll do. Look at that.
That's nice.
That's your loaf that you
did an
scored.
amazing job.
Yeah, you did. You mean you made that loaf right from the beginning?
Right from scratch.
Right from scratch.
I nursed that to
Would
life.
you like to lift it up and show the camera? Show everybody how it's turned out? Yeah?
Voila.
Look.
It's my baby.
This is your first ever loaf. All right, you can go back behind the camera and I'll get it out and we can show everybody.
There you go.
Well done.
Keep it there so I can do a little close shot on that.
Big round of applause here. Big round of applause here for James. He did so well. That loaf that he's nurtured so carefully. I'm just going to get rid of that lid. Let's put it on something.
See, the struggle is real.
There we go. So let's get this loaf out. And look at that. Look at that. Look at your little loaf. You are amazing. Again, it's quite small loaf. It hasn't opened up a huge amount or grown a huge amount because they could have done with being in the fridge a little bit longer. But this is still going to taste absolutely fabulous. Look at that. 100% Cotswold Crunch. Smells amazing. No doubt it's going to taste amazing. I think it's about time you tried a bit, don't you think?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
So the main tips to take away from this when you're first starting out with this flour, start small. Small amount in your dough. If you're going to go 100%, use less water. These things will be written up, so you've got them as a written visual guide. But I highly recommend giving it a go. Get hold of some Cotswold Crunch wherever you are, whether it's the organic or non-organic, both work well. The flavour is astounding. So, should we give it a try?
Let's do that.
We're doing things a bit differently in this video. We're going to actually sit and eat some of the bread. Because the question will come up, and I'm asked this so often, a lot of people want to know about what knife to use to slice their sourdough. I mean, if you look at my lovely slices, how beautiful and even they are. I know sourdough can be quite hard to get through. I know when I first started baking it, I was doing battle every morning until I discovered these. This is a bow saw bread knife made by the Garlic Ton. And this is what I use for my sourdough, and we'll just go through it so easily. You have to specify if you're right or left-handed, and no, the loaves don't have to come out that thick. So that is what you will have just seen me use on the video, but it makes it really, really easy to slice your bread and to get evenly sliced, thin, slim slices of bread, however you want them. So I just thought I would take that opportunity to let you know. Again, we can give you a link. He's on Instagram. We can let you know the details. We're finishing this video off a bit differently from normal because we're going to put James on the spot and we're going to make him try some Cotswold Crunch. So you've got one which is the 100%.
Gotcha.
You've got one which is a mix, so feel free to start eating.
Do I have to choose my favourite?
Well, you just need to tell us how good it is.
I know it's good. Having worked with you for 4 years, I know it's good.
I know, and as everybody knows, he's going to take a load of this home. So we've got some cheeses that a couple of my very lovely bakers sent me for my birthday. and some chutney made by my very brilliant friend Tracy. And you just need to pile some on and tell us what you think. So going in, we've got the 100% Cotswold Crunch. What do you think?
More. Just like more.
It's lovely, isn't it? I think it's very difficult to explain the flavour, but it's just so good. It's really good toasted as well.
I mean, even without obviously the cheese and the chutney, just having just the bread on its own. It's moist and springy without being like really dry.
Yes.
Because you think, watching you when you're making it, because of how much volume it had, how thick it was in comparison to like the strong white mixes, I was expecting it to be...
What, denser?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not.
But like,
yeah.
I don't know if hopefully this other camera I've set up over here can pick up on my hands here, but you can see the return on it.
Yeah. Get you.
I'm super technical, mate.
And because the flour does have a sweetness and a moisture to it, it's brilliant for this, but it's also amazing if you try using it in things like cakes. So if you made banana bread or a carrot cake or something like that with Cotswold Crunch, it's really, really tasty. So do try that as well. And what do you think of the one then? I'll let you choose. So this is the one which has got a portion of Cotswold Crunch in it and a portion of strong white bread flour. So a bit more like what you used to.
If I'm honest, I should have tasted that quickly before having the cheese and the chutney on it. So I have a bit separately.
So you can just taste a bit of it on its own.
chatting.
So as you can see, our lovely loaves, you would think that this would come out denser, but it doesn't because it is so good. But even with the mix of the strong white bread flour, you can still taste it, can't you?
I must admit, I prefer this one.
Yeah, and so you should.
Of the two,
Yeah.
I prefer this one.
The 100% Cotswold Crunch is, I mean, it's the most popular in my household. Once you've tried it, you will never look back. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
On the film.
I spend all my time stood over there.
For everybody that's wondered, this is the hairy man that's usually behind the camera. Well done for your scoring.
Yeah, thank you.
You can now just eat in comfort and not worry about people watching you anymore.
I can turn the cameras off. Stuff my face.
Try the Cotswold Crunch. Honestly, you're going to love it. Thank you for watching us.
Us, yeah. Thanks for watching us. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.